Welcome to episode 176 of Stageworthy. I'm your host, Phil Rickaby. Stageworthy is a podcast about people in Canadian theatre featuring conversations with actors, directors, playwrights, and more. I want to take a second and talk to you about Today Tix. Today Tix is an app and website that offers easy and affordable access to a wide variety of must-see cultural performances from plays and musicals to dance, opera, comedy, immersive experiences, and so much more. I'm going to take a look at the Today Tix app and see what's happening. I see that there are $10 preview tickets to the Cherry Orchard at Streetcar Crow's Nest. Oh, and there's a deal this week on tickets for The Neverending Story at the upcoming Stratford Festival season. Oh, and if I scroll down a little further, I see there's great prices on tickets for some really awesome-looking Luminato performances. So make sure you get on that. Today Tix makes ticket buying simple, and you can purchase tickets in less than 30 seconds. Get it on iOS and Android, or go to todaytix.com. If you like the podcast, I hope that you will leave a comment or rating on Apple Podcasts, Google Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Your ratings and comments help new people find the show. Or even better, if you know somebody who you think will like the show, tell them about it. Some of my favorite podcasts became my favorites because somebody I knew told me about them. And if you want to drop me a line, maybe tell me about somebody that you told about the podcast, or just tell me that you've been listening. Remember that you can find Stageworthy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at StageworthyPod, and you can find the website at stageworthypodcast.com. If you want to drop me a line, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Phil Rickaby, and my website is philrickaby.com. My guests this week are Bri Proke and Bryce Hodgson of Pact Theatre. Pact, with the support of the Storefront Arts Initiative, are opening a new venue, the Grand Canyon, with a grand opening party on Saturday, April 6th in Toronto. This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, okay, I don't even know where to start with this. So the space is going to be called the Grand Canyon, or it is called the Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon. No the.
Yeah. Okay.
We wanted, separate it from the monument.
The Grand Canyon. Yeah. Yes, I understand. I can see how that would be confusing. It would be like, so I'm looking for the Grand Canyon in Toronto.
We had a whole bit about this the other day, about how it turns out it was in the Junction the whole time. Yeah. People who are GPSing the Grand Canyon are like, oh, it's in the Junction. Let's go.
Nice. Yeah. So it's way off course.
Yeah.
So, I mean, first off, starting a theater space in Toronto.
Yeah.
What made you want to do that? I want to preface that by saying that I see theater spaces all the time. Walking around the city, I want to put a theater there.
Okay.
Ooh, I want to put a theater there. So this is like a thing.
It's that.
Yeah,
that's
us.
And it was, we had our friend Graham in here earlier today, and he kind of asked us the same question.
Yeah.
And sort of the thing about moving here from Vancouver was in Vancouver, I always did that.
Yeah.
Looked in every storefront window, being that would be a great theater. Whereas in Vancouver, that storefront you're looking in is $8 to $9 grand a month.
Yes.
And then moving out here, it was it's not quite that. It's getting there.
Yes,
it can be. And then we got lucky with this place.
Yeah.
And it just kind of it was funny because it was kind of we stopped looking and they just showed up.
Well, we found this place in April, actually, and the landlord was super keen to get someone in here, and so we looked at it and we were like, this is perfect, but we were both in a time where we just couldn't commit to it, because he was like, we need an answer by tomorrow, and we were like, we can't, and it was a Friday the 13th, we didn't want to make a decision on the 13th, whatever, and so we let it go, and then it went to the previous tenants, and then Bryce, who was in Vancouver at the time, came out for a wedding in October, and our landlord George just called Bryce out of the blue and was like, I'm kicking out the guys, do you still want the space? And so it was kind of like a redemption for us, and we were like, okay, now we can't say no, clearly this needs to happen.
Yeah.
And then in terms of wanting to open the space, we just unfortunately, we've seen a lot of great theaters go down in the last couple of years, and it's been really unfortunate. And I think the end goal for us has always been to host artists and our own plays as well. And just given our experiences working in different theaters, it seems like it's just our time to try.
It's one of the things, because I've heard a lot of, because the Storefront is still searching for its permanent home, and there's so many spaces, like the box is going to be closing at the end of the month because
Oh, no way!
I didn't know.
because that whole building, the coffin factory there, is being like turned into condos. And so like the 31st is like everybody's out. So the box is going away. There's still the attic and the commons, but like,
don't they have a new space too now? Bricks and mortar. I don't know where it is either, but
it's so we're losing that space, and it's like we do need more spaces now. When the dog needs
he's an attention.
And so like, but I've heard stories about like in places like Chicago where the Storefront theaters are like booming, and there's like apparently a plaza that's all like Storefront theaters and things like that.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
It's huge,
And so we are, and we do need spaces.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so like, has it been difficult to get, because there's a lot that you have to put into a theater. Has it been difficult to get everything together that the theater needs?
Yes,
of course.
Yes, there, but like with anything, some things have gone smoother than others. So in certain cases, we've gotten like extremely lucky, and then in other cases, it's been like you thought it was going smooth, and suddenly
the rug is pulled out from under you.
And I think that's kind of the thing is like here we are for the first time ever like being. I was going to air quotes, but we're not even like we don't even need to. Like we're being fucking business.
You're
owners.
Business people,
And I never had planned to ever be a business owner in my life. And I don't think you really had ever planned it.
No.
And we're doing it, and so like part of doing this thing is also like suddenly having to kind of learn that. And I think the exciting thing and like the like scary thing, it's funny like running in and talking, like running into friends and talking with people who are business owners, whether it's like restaurants or other theaters or things like that. Everybody I've talked to when I'm like, hey, we're starting a business, they're like that first year, man, like strap in, hold on.
But I think it's pretty universal, at least in the theater and I'd say music scene of the people that we've talked to, that space is definitely needed.
Oh shit!
And so like it's been really positive in that way for like people. Every time we talk to someone, they're like, "Great, when are you open? We want to do this. We're looking for a place to do this." And the great thing about this space in general is that it can be anything. It doesn't just have to be a theater.
Right.
It can be a music venue. On Saturday we're having like a photography show that is also paired with like a skateboard night. So we're building a skate ramp, and we just we've got high ceilings and a big space. So
all like our risers come apart. And like everything can be stacked together. And like,
we really just want it to be an open and revolving door for artists of any kind.
In terms of that kind of thing, like how do you see it as a it's been called in the promotional material a hub. So how do you see it being a hub more than just like just another venue?
I think exactly that. I think the fact that like we're not. I think that like the space is very easily transportable within itself, and the fact that also like you and me work a lot in theater, but we don't just work in theater. We work in a lot of other mediums, and I think that was why it was so naturally when we got the space, both of us being like, but it shouldn't just be theater.
And then in terms of the hub aspect too, like the Junction is like rapidly growing in popularity. I think we got in at the right time. Like all of this area is just like evolving into a really nice neighborhood. And then just having the policy of being like, we are artists, we want to hang out with other artists and support what they do, and we want this place to be like a pop tates of sorts too, where people can just come in and see what's going on. Like they don't have to buy a ticket to come through the door. Like it's just like a come and hang when we're not doing anything.
Do you see like having I don't want to say like a cafe or something, but like
Especially in the summer, even if it's super bare bones, but like I keep imagining that huge garage door opening and people just riding their bikes up and like coming to read a book and have a cup of coffee and just like
that's fucking amazing.
Hey,
yeah. I mean, but that's like we've got this really tall, like big space, and then on top of it we've got a garage door and we've got a pretty big parking lot out front.
Yeah.
Like we've got a lot of stuff that we can do.
Yeah.
So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So I mean, right now as we're in here, the walls are all black as they should be, and there's some sound equipment and there's like some work lights and things like that. What's happening next? Like, what are you guys in the middle of doing? How do you see the place transforming?
Well, we need to make the rest of it black. Like we need to paint the risers.
We need to hang all of our lights, properly set up our audio equipment, hang all of our masking and curtains.
That's kind of it, though. Like, and I mean, those are like the wiring. The wiring's the big thing. The wiring for the lights and going through. Like, we got our grid up. There's 2 last pipes we need to throw up for the grid, and then just like finishing the painting. Yeah. We're also building some. I mean, up there will be the booth. The front half will be the booth, and then the back half will be sort of dressing room / an office. Like it'll basically, when there's not a show in here, it's an office. When a show comes in here, we pack up the office and it's a dressing room. We got to build some desks for up there.
Hang some twinkle lights in the front. I mean, bigger projects that we want to do is we want to build a second bathroom, like a super tiny closet bathroom, and then out here leads out to just kind of like a decrepit back space, but it's fenced off. On the other side of the fence is the Dundas bike path.
All right.
So we're hoping to talk to the city to cut into the fence so we can have another access point.
Through
that, and then like cleaning that up. But that's more like a spring, summer when it's nicer out project. So it's not going to be ready for opening, but those are things that are like on our radar. Year 1 tasks.
Yeah.
We do want to apply for a liquor license, but again, that's more like once we get everything else ready to go. Yeah.
That's kind of a
huge.
Nice to have.
But it becomes a bigger thing later.
I mean, you want to be able to have like even because there people come to the show sometimes. A drink goes nicely with the show.
Yeah, totally. So that's it. That's the plan for now. And then in terms of programming, Blood Pact will do 2 shows in here a year, and the rest of it is really up for grabs. We're not currently going to do like a season or a curated season or anything like that. We do have, I'd say, between now and this time next year, about 5 plays already lined up, which is great. But
it's good. Like it's tracking.
But then we also have like music shows that want to come in here and comedy series, and like we have a movie screening and a projector, so we're going to do screenings in here. It's going to be in everything. That's what
great. That's great. So you guys are having a grand opening party on April 6th. And that's, what do you hope to get out of that aside from just showing off the place? Is there something you hope to get out of it?
I think that like it's exciting. Not like it's exciting for us, but it's also been like it's been really exciting for our community and everybody who's been coming in. And the other side of it is like, yes, there's so much about bringing people in and showing them the space, but then I'm starting to get on the other side of that really this week, realizing that it's like next week. That like a lot of that now is kind of like turning into like a lot of it is a party to also show gratitude to everybody who's helped with this place. So I think it's like it's that, and it's a celebration of like being able to like host people and that there is another space around, because like it's.
I think the other like more like less charming side of it too is it's a deadline for us to get everything done and just to open the space and just go do.
Deadlines are super scary, but also super helpful.
They're very helpful, because we've had the space since December. We've been working on the space for a while, and it's not going to be perfect by next Saturday, but we just need to start doing it.
I mean, you can tweak something forever.
Absolutely, yeah.
We also, I mean, but like we also have just been a company that is really into deadlines. We've always done we've always been into it.
Yeah.
We love it, and we've never been a company, even with our plays and like developing plays. We've never been a company that develops plays for very long time.
Yeah, we don't really even like workshop.
We don't even really like workshopping plays. We just kind of like
We're like, okay, this is opening night. You've got until then to make a good play.
Like and it's always worked pretty good for us.
So far so good.
Why not with a business? Yeah.
I mean, there is something to say about when you're creating a play that it has rough edges.
Yeah.
You know, I think we see a lot of stuff that's really, really polished, and there's something about theater that still has the rough edge to it.
Yeah.
That's good. You know, I'm kind of tired of things that are a little too worked.
Totally.
I don't know about both of you. Like, for me as a playwright, when I talk to certain, I wouldn't say like other, but like when I have talked to other certain playwrights, and I let them know, like, it took me X amount of time to write this play, and we didn't workshop it, and we kind of just like put ourselves under fire to put it up. There can be a bit of a schmarmy attitude that I've experienced from saying that because there is kind of this institutionalized way of going about making things where it's like, well, you have to workshop it, and you have to go through another company, and you have to like put all these other things involved, and that's not enough time to be able to put it together.
But who's to say?
Exactly,
and that's it.
Well,
there is no one way to do this stuff.
Well, that's exactly right. And we experienced that too. This past summer, we filmed my first feature that I wrote and directed that's starring Bryce. And it was basically the entire theater company decided to do a movie. And people were like, wow, how did you do that? How did you pull off a feature? I was like, we just did it. Just did it, and we figured it out on the way. Not to say that the people involved are not talented and know what they're doing, but at some point you just have to stop planning and just start doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know there's performing my own show. I've done it a few times, and I've learned about it as I do it.
Yeah.
It was super rough.
Of course.
The first time, and then you go back and
you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But deadlines are like, it's gotta be done.
It's gotta be done.
You mentioned like doing. I was going to ask you guys because it's been a year since we sat down and talked. So, you know, aside from like we'll talk about the feature in a second. What have you guys been up to? Like
we were doing that, and like
I did my play at Assembly in December. Bryce was in Vancouver filming the last season of this TV show. What have we been doing? I mean, I've just been freelance producing for the most part. But the movie has taken up a huge chunk of my time. So that's been the biggest thing.
Is that still in editing, or is it?
We're like a week away from finishing it. I know. And then we're submitting to festivals like all over the world. So that's exciting. Yeah.
And it's a feature.
It's a feature film.
Does it have a title yet?
It's called Shark Week, which might not be the title forever because Discovery Channel might sue me, but
they won't.
We're gonna go with it until we get the cease and desist.
And you should.
Totally. Yeah.
And what were you working on in Vancouver? Well, you were doing your show.
Yeah, I was doing iZombie.
Yeah.
And writing a new play. Writing kind of 2 new plays. It's funny we were like talking about like not taking a long time to write a play. I've been writing this fucking play for a year now. And I'm at that place where I'm like, this is the longest it's ever taken me. I mean, it's in draft, I don't know what, 9 or 10. Like this is the longest I've ever sat on a play.
Right. How does that feel as a playwright?
It sucks. Right now it sucks. Yeah. I'm now like I don't want to write anymore. I just want to.
You shouldn't write anymore.
No, I don't want to. I want to cast the thing.
Yeah.
And I just want to fucking put it up. And then also like I've been working on another play. So I've been like working on redrafting this one, and then I just started writing a new play, and like so there's stuff going on, but mainly this. I mean, since December.
Yeah, this has been our main focus.
Yeah, and it's like even in Vancouver, like the lights came from Vancouver. Pretty much all of the equipment came from Vancouver. Our curtains came from Vancouver.
Bryce drove a trailer across the country with all of the gear that you see in this space in January.
Wow.
Yeah. The coldest week of the year. Yeah.
Well, that must have been fun.
Yeah, it was. It was great. It was
just you and
It was me and Frank.
Okay.
Me and Frank driving across the country. The car froze in Calgary. It was minus 40 before wind chill, and the car froze. It was really exciting. I don't know, what else have you been up to?
I don't know.
The plays that you're working on. And is working on a play for a year, which I've worked on stuff for a lot longer, but that's just because
for me that's a long time.
Yeah. And you're frustrated with how long it's taken. Or is it your is it just not ready? Is it like
no, man? I'm just sick of me. And that's the best way of putting it. Is that it gets to a point for me now where there's just like I now sit down with not that much to actually do, and I continue to go back to it, and more of me gets involved in this play than the actual play. And that sucks. And that's really good.
I mean, I think that all just comes back to like the over-polished thing that we were talking about too, because it's like you can't perfect a play, I don't think.
No.
Especially in the writing stages. And you just go back and like try to make it perfect, and then you start questioning it. So you're like, I'm going to rip everything away from it and start again, and it just becomes this jumbled mess. And that's a lot of the time our kind of way of doing business or making plays, where we're like, let's try and do this a different way, and then we always go back to the original plan. Like we always go back to basics and like just keep it simple and like keep with your intention, I guess.
No, I've certainly spent a lot of time like crossing out and erasing across out, just doing the same thing over and over. It can be really.
Well, my editor right now is like going through that because I'm like, are we sure we don't want to put that scene back in? He's like, you've done this to me 5 times. Like, I need you to stop. Like, it's just like, there comes a time.
There's that, the interviewer asking Spalding Gray, are you Buddhist? And he's like, I'm as Buddhist as first thought, best thought is as Buddhist kind of thing. Like, it's allowing myself to just get out of the way and let the thing be the thing and trust that as it shows up, it was right kind of thing. And I like that. Leo and I from Wallace Coffee, I was up there the other day, we were talking about Bob Dylan, and we were talking about Highway 61 Revisited. And like, that number one, he made that when he was like 22. Could you imagine how fucking different that record would be if there wasn't all the imperfections and like out of key guitars and like fucking like fucked up time changes and things like that? Like, that's part of what makes that record so great.
It is. There is something to be said for those imperfections. Just to come back to this space, as I'm looking around, I'm curious, like what was it when you guys took over?
It was a car detailing shop,
which is great because people keep coming in here because the sign's still up out front. They're like, hey, is it okay if I just leave my car out here?
We had a guy in here like 30 minutes before you showed up, and he came in and he was like, this is cool. Started like looking around being like,
which also is making me like wonder, like all these creative people are like showing up with their like Beamers and shit.
I'm like, where did
what do you guys do for a living?
That's an excellent question.
How did you make that work?
How much stuff did you have to take out of it?
Nothing.
No.
There's that mural right there that we've decided to keep and put in the office. It's like a photo from, I don't know, the 90s maybe. It's a very sad, small-looking Toronto skyline. We're gonna keep that though. But no, it was pretty bare when we got it.
There was a wall right there. That whole section was like there was a transformer on the wall, and we moved that up into the office. We moved all the panels up into the office.
And where those beams are, there was just actual wall, so we took that down. But
you didn't have to you didn't have to rip anything out, really.
No.
That's good.
We're lucky.
So I mean, you're talking about hanging the curtains and all of that sort of stuff. like, aside from the hanging lights and getting that stuff, I mean, the place looks.
I mean, other than the piles of trash everywhere.
I mean, that's just a problem.
Part of the charm.
This is part of the charm. This trash will be here.
The trash is the
They'll
trash
be here on
stays.
opening nights.
Yeah.
Come play, stay for the trash.
You two can take home some trash.
Yeah,
Trashies.
yeah. Take whatever you want. No,
You caught us on. It's funny. You caught us on a good day. We've had a lot of like really great people come by today.
Yeah.
So the door has been flying open a lot. I don't know. Today kind of feels like the first day where it's like, oh shit, like
it really feels like the first day with like talking to you, and we had another interview this afternoon for intermission, and then having like a client come in, and then having a prospective client come in. We're like, oh, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
It's been nice.
Yeah.
In the process of putting this together, I mean, today's a good day.
Yeah.
What does the worst day look like?
Oh. I don't know.
I don't do administration stuff, so I haven't had too many.
There's been a couple of like scares just with like business licenses and stuff like that, where it's like, is this actually feasible? You know, I had to go down to City Hall one day to find out where we were rezoned because I tried calling 311 and they were like, oh, like there's like a block on this account, so you have to go down to City Hall. And I was like, this is it. Like, we're not going to be able to do anything. And then of course we got there and it was fine, and it's totally fine. There's definitely been like moments of fright, but I can't think of like a super bad day. We don't really fight, like that's not our jam.
No.
We don't really have a lot to fight about.
No.
I don't know.
You caught as big a fight as we could have possibly had about 15 minutes before you got here regarding a piano. But that was it. I was like, I don't like this idea. Bri was like, we'll talk about it later. And I was like, great. It's about as heated as Grand Canyon.
Well, shit.
No, but I mean,
looking for some
honestly,
goth.
like, what's been like a crazy, like...
Yeah, because you have and this sort of thing, like when you're like...
I'm sure it'll come.
Shit that can happen.
Sure, but like there hasn't been any major like, oh fuck. Like other than the zoning thing where I was like kind of having a minor freak out.
I had, yeah, and it was funny. Like that I think was the collective. Like,
yeah.
There was one night for me where I just like, I laid in bed being like,
It's not happening.
it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just all of this was a terrible mistake.
Oh, no.
And
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it'll happen. Something is bound to go wrong. But
you're not wrong.
but I don't. Yeah, like there hasn't been. We've been really lucky.
Yeah,
we've
just been so lucky.
Yeah.
If you guys could think about what you want Grand Canyon to be like in a year, 2 years, what would it look like?
Like physically or like the mandate?
Give me the whole thing, whatever that comes to your mind.
Physically, I think it really won't look any different.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will look the exact same. And like talking about how lucky we got lucky with the space where we can hang proper theater lights.
Yeah.
We can do a really nice hang. We've got a lot of really great equipment.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a really nice board. We got really lucky with getting curtains, like great custom built curtains for this place. Like that shit is great. Like that's gone really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be great to see this space serve the community, and not just the theater community, but the Junction, Geary community, and have people just popping in to see what's going on. Like I don't think we want it to be this like massive success, but just like a nice small little indie space that people know to come to for good stuff, who trust the programming, who can bring their kids to stuff, and like just a place to hang. Like it doesn't have to be any more than that.
I do think that there's something to be said for that in a community, because I think that a lot of times in theater, there's people who they think they don't understand theater, they're not allowed to go to.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And to have a place where they could just drop in, and there's nobody going like, no, you don't belong here.
Yeah.
But rather there's like, come on in, take a look.
That's always been something that I think we both have prided our theater company on being, is that we usually bring in crowds of non-theater people a lot of the time, which we love.
Yeah.
Because we've never thought once that we are any better, nor like any different than people who don't like theater. And I think that comes from our roots in Vancouver too, a lot, because there is such a separation between theater people and non-theater people in Vancouver.
I mean, yeah, like our first true event is on Saturday, and it's a skateboard event.
Yeah.
It's
And
not
like,
theater.
and like we are so stoked on that.
Yeah.
And like we've been talking with the folks up the street over at the George Chavala, and like they were talking about about possibly teaming up with them and doing like a youth summer camp and like 2 weeks where you like put together a play from scratch, write it, direct it, and then come in here and produce it over like 2 or 3 nights.
Yeah.
And that kind of shit, like when we first started doing all this, like we were stoked to like have our own space and put on our own plays and stuff, and like that's not gone, but it's evolved more into like I'm more stoked on the possibility of doing that. Of like having young people in here and like having the like, you know, like I wish when I was a kid I had that.
Because there's so many places, so many theaters that don't welcome kids in.
Yeah.
Except at
absolutely.
Christmas.
Except at
Except at Christmas, then we allow the children to come in.
Yeah.
Because that's where we do our panto or children's
Yeah,
focus thing.
yeah.
But it's so rare to have a place where the kids can come in and make a thing and get introduced to what this is. So that's pretty awesome.
That's definitely within our mandate, like is being a part of the community.
Yeah.
Not coming into the community and being like, this is what we do and you just have to accept it. But like being of service to the community is a huge priority for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what your first? So after you got the skateboard show on Saturday. You've got the opening on the 6th.
Yeah.
What happens after that? What's the first thing after that?
So the very first thing after that is actually not very exciting to maybe most people, but we've got someone in here for a good friend of ours that's coming in for all of April to build and paint set pieces.
Okay.
And that's just what this, like, we've got the high ceilings, we can do it.
Yeah.
And then the more, I'd say, exciting thing in May, half of May and June, is we Blood Pact, are co-proing with Witch Boy Theatre and putting up a new play called The Doll Play. So that'll run from May 22nd to June 8th. So that's our first official show in the space.
Nice.
And it's us and Witch Boy. We're super excited about it.
Yeah, really excited about that.
Yeah.
And it just, of course, made sense to me as soon as you said somebody's coming in to paint sets. We have the high ceilings, and also a way to get them out because you have.
We've got our own loading dock.
That's
It's
that's
huge. Yeah.
really exciting. Like the one of the plays I'm writing right now is about 2 kids who steal a van, and it's like
We can bring a van in.
So excited we can do a play with a van.
Yeah.
Like,
But I mean, in an indie theater to have the height that you have here is really rare.
It's huge. And
You
it's
know,
what most people comment on. They're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that and the stairs.
You've got like
Everyone
you've
loves
got like
the
the Red
stairs.
Sandcastle, you've got the assembly. And
They're
don't
cramped.
have height, right?
Yeah.
They're really cramped. And this is like
Yeah, it's
a lot of
open.
freedom here.
Yeah. So those are the major things going on. And, you know, Blood Pact's going to do our show in October. But we are happy to book anyone in who wants to come.
Are you? Because I mean, the website right now for Grand Canyon is sort of linked off the Web Pack site. There's not a lot there. Is there?
Oh, did you go to that today?
I did go to that today. Yeah.
Oh, dude, we
made that
revamped that last night just for you, Phil.
Because there was, I mean, I got. Bri said there was a link on the website.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot there, but there's something there.
It's there.
Yeah. Obviously, eventually it'll be updated with like information about
How to book and
things like that.
absolutely. Yeah, we're on Space Finder right now too, but again, it's a pretty like barren listing because we don't have photos of the space yet because we're just not ready. And I think all of that stuff comes after we open, like because it's like we're a week and a half out. Like I can't focus on.
You can't focus on
websites.
Still, like,
when I'm covered in black paint.
Yeah. Do you know which of your shows you're going to do in October?
Yeah, we're gonna do play the one I've been working on for too long.
Okay.
It's a play called Doc Mother God Society. It's about a guy and his auntie living in Kelowna during forest fire season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exciting.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, this is like super awesome.
Thank you.
We think so too.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah. But did you guys, I mean, you saw the space the first, because jumping back, you saw the space the first time, and I was like, I need to know now, but did you love the space immediately?
I didn't even see the space.
Oh, yeah.
I was when I was producing the Feminist Fucking Festival with
Right.
Storefront, and I was not able to see the space. But I trusted Bryce.
It wasn't even this garage. He's
Oh,
got
yeah.
it's there's 8 garages.
Okay.
That our landlord owns. So we were 4 down. So the first one we saw was 4 down, and it was way skinnier than this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's skinnier than this. It probably is about 5-6 feet less.
Oh.
So it would have been a very kind of different space.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful we didn't take it. But I mean, like, I'm grateful we didn't take it because we would have kind of been like, you know, in hindsight now working in this space, I'm like, oh shit, like, we really, the weight, we lucked out with that.
When I came to see this space for the first time, I was with some other friends. Bryce was in Vancouver, and like the minute I saw it, I was like, "Yep, this is it. This is happening." And then I remember I called you.
I was so underwhelmed.
You were so underwhelmed.
I was at the pool. I was swimming.
That was probably the darkest day of the Grand Canyon. Was when I called you and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited!" And you were like, "Fine," and I straight up was just like, "You're harshing my buzz. I have to go."
Yeah.
Like I was like, "This is fucked. I can't handle this right now."
Well, I was in a pool locker room. I wasn't wearing any clothes. My phone was ringing. And you were like, I'm so blown away. And like, this is what we're going to be doing. And I was just like, yeah, that's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That was the moment it almost didn't happen.
Yeah, I was like, fuck you, man. Yeah. So, yeah.
But fortunately it did. Like, what was it? Did you see all the possibilities of that? Or did you?
Yeah, for sure. It was just also, we were with someone who, our good friend Carissa, who's also the person coming in to paint the sets and stuff, and she's the TD at Buddies.
Yeah.
And she looked around and was just like, you can totally do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I needed someone who knows that kind of stuff to be like, you can totally do this. And that, even just with those words, I was like, oh my god, okay.
Yeah.
And then just looking around and just like the general vibe of the space is nice, and our landlord was really sweet, and like they were very, very, still are very supportive of what we're doing.
So they never at any point, because I think the storefront sort of lost its place because the landlord was like, I don't want a theater or something along those lines. But I've heard that a bunch of spaces have closed because landlords are like, I don't want a theater here.
Mm-hmm. Well, they think they know that they can raise the rent and make more money off of something else, and theater. Thespians aren't to be trusted.
Our landlords have been
nothing but supportive.
Like, very supportive.
Awesome.
Very
they
supportive.
think that it's a good idea. I can't say this for sure, but it seems like, especially just with the last people who are in here, that they've had a string of bad luck of unfortunate tenants in the space, and so as long as we're responsible and pay our rent on time, they've been nothing but like, awesome. They pop in, they work right next door, they pop in whenever they want, smoke a cigarette, talk to us about like,
it was funny, like our landlord, I was in here like 2 weeks ago and the risers weren't up, and like it was, if from them having come in like once a week since we've been here, like a lot of things had changed, but you wouldn't have been able to notice the things. It had been like a lot of like electrical stuff, a lot of like construction stuff. Landlord came in and I was like, I was doing something, and he just like looked around. He's like, you don't do anything in here. I just laughed.
But in the last week, like we've gotten the risers, we've gotten the chairs, we've painted the space black. Like, there's been huge progress in the last week because we're like, oh yeah, deadline.
Yeah.
We got to do this stuff now.
I mean, I guess the electrical stuff is like one of the really key parts.
There was
big.
and there was a lot of work.
And like that staircase used to be where that window was, and the door. Like we've done stuff.
Yeah.
But now you can see.
I mean, the electrical is really kind of the bones, right? Like
Totally.
Because you can't do anything if the electrical's gone.
Yeah, you can't.
No,
Well, we almost did have a scare too when I was in here the other. We'd done all the electrical and we moved the stairs, and then I was in here and I turned on the lights and like the sound system to play music, and one of our chargers for a drill just like exploded and just started like smoking everywhere, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
And I luckily, it was funny, like literally in that moment, I happened to be with our electrician, and I was like, something crazy went down at the space, and he's like, I'll meet you over there. And the two of us like came over here, and it was like 2 seconds he fixed it. He's like, oh shit, this happened, kind of thing. But like,
yeah.
But also the way that you described it was that a charger exploded.
Yeah, it
And
did.
So, no, but like I pictured that it like exploded. Like,
Of course, when you say
the
explode,
wall's
you think
gone
that
and
a
like.
grenade went off.
Right.
And that's what I said to Jimmy too. I was like, a charger exploded. And Jimmy was like,
It was alarming at the time.
it was alarming. No, but like all the way back, like we have been so lucky with our landlords, and everybody who we met from the community has been really.
Yeah, people just started
awesome
stopping in and being
Yeah.
like, what are you doing in here? And this weekend we were like making up a flyer and we're going to go down the streets and just introduce ourselves and invite them to the opening and be like, let us know what you want to do here. Like,
It's
that's
kind
the
of-
thing. Yeah.
It's kind of exciting to think that when the weather is good and you open the garage door and like invite people in.
Totally. That's what we
It's
can do
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
We haven't since we've had it because it's been winter. We haven't had too many opportunities to like just have it open while we're hanging out.
Yeah.
But the few times that door is up,
People just come on in.
People just walk up.
Yeah, of
and
course
they're
they do.
just like,
Yeah.
they're
It's a
just
new
like,
thing and it's a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And once
It's
we get
exciting to
our
be part of it.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, big
and we
time.
want them to be a part of it. Like, we want to do family programming. We want to hear the suggestions. You know, we want to get in with the BIA. We want to be a part of the community.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. This is really exciting, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking with us.
Yeah,
It's
of
great.
course.
We were really excited that you contacted
Yeah,
us.
Phil, we love you.
This has been a Homebody Productions production.